Well, hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and this is Rapid Fire episode 56, where Sami Callihan, the no-good, stupid, bat-swinging, careless, worthless son of a bitch that probably is the result of a brother and sister mating with a leather couch from the 70s, is at it again. Swinging something, a bat, a pipe, something, at somebody else's head, giving him a massive hematoma. This time it's 68-year-old Kevin Sullivan, blood and guts wrestler and perpetual shit booker in WCW especially. But that being said, I mean, I don't have a lot of good things to really say about Kevin Sullivan. I never really cared for the guy. I never really thought he was that good of a worker. I never thought he was that good of a booker. His best feud, in my opinion, that I saw was against Chris Benoit in WCW, and that's only because Chris Benoit won it. And if you know more about the backstage shit that went on with that, and the whole Kevin Sullivan booking his own divorce, and Benoit and Nancy Chris Benoit and Nancy ending up together. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously harboring resentment, that kind of stuff, whatever. I have no love for Kevin Sullivan. But apparently at a Rockstar Pro Wrestling show, and I'm not familiar with them, they're based out of Dayton, Ohio, whatever, I don't wish them ill. I'm not going to knock the promotion for this. I hope that the promotion continues to succeed. Indie wrestling shows, indie wrestling promotions need to succeed more. I want to see more of them draw bigger crowds, get some good talent in there. I want indie wrestling to grow even more than it already has. So I'm not going to knock the company here. Apparently, one of their shows, Sami Callihan, who is the leader of Ohio versus everything, whatever the fuck that is. I know it's something that they brought into Impact Wrestling. I just don't get the appeal of it. I've seen enough of their work to where, besides Sami Callihan, I'm not going to knock anybody else there, but Sami Callihan did the whole thing with Eddie Edwards. If you remember right, bashed his head in, and nearly ended Eddie Edwards' career. And Eddie Edwards, one of the best damn workers that has been around in a number of years. Great in tag teams, great as a single star. I mean, promos, whatever. I don't really care about promos when it comes to Eddie Edwards because his work speaks for itself. He's tremendous. And I'm so glad after that stupid, careless, moronic fuck Sami Callihan did that to Eddie and nearly ended his career by carelessly swinging that bat, where it's a damn shame Sami didn't swing it back and crack himself in the head. Not that he would have damaged anything, because you have to have a fucking brain up here to actually damage anything first, and he hasn't had a goddamn brain probably since, the day he was born. His mother probably said, oh wow, this is it? This is what I gave birth to? I mean, I wouldn't have been happy either, and I wouldn't certainly be proud of somebody who has done this to two separate people. And yeah, I'm gonna knock on Sami all I want. And I'm not gonna knock Impact Wrestling for employing him, by the way. And a little sidebar, if you want to watch the Redemption pay-per-view through legal methods, whether it's on the Global Wrestling Network app, whether it's through ImpactWrestling.com, whether it's through your pay-per-view provider, do it through legal methods if you want the company to succeed. If you don't care to legally stream, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna watch it because I don't have time. But if you want Impact Wrestling to succeed, please support their pay-per-views, and hopefully they can get back to being an even, bigger promotion than they were in 04 to 09. I don't know if that'll happen, but I want them to continue to rise up. Any jokes I make about them or WWE or all this, or, Ring of Honor or any of this stuff, any jokes I make about wrestling, in addition to my love of wrestling, I make out of love and out of respect. I do want Impact Wrestling to succeed, despite any jokes I might make. I do want them to succeed. So hopefully they will. They will succeed in spite of still employing Sami Callihan. They should have fired him after that whole Eddie Edwards thing. And I'm sorry, I don't care if, accidents happen, this kind of stuff. Yes, accidents happen. This was preventable, though. And this whole thing that happened with Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan is 68 goddamn years old, who did make a career out of doing blood and guts wrestling and suffered a massive hematoma on his head. If you haven't seen the images, I suggest you take a look at the images. It's pretty graphic shit. Eddie Edwards, and I'm just going to talk briefly about him, such a tremendous guy from what I can tell, and the fact that he's been able to survive this and come back from this is great. In spite of Sami being a careless, worthless fuck. He needs to be banned from wrestling, and yeah, okay, people have done way worse stuff. I'd argue that Michael Elgin, for what he did to that woman, and I don't mean to say that woman in a bad way. The one time I remembered her name, I'm not going to say it on this video. her business. I hope that should Elgin have done this, that he's brought to justice. But the whole point is there are people that have done worse that have stayed in wrestling. Jimmy Snuka murdered somebody in 1983 and still stayed in the company for a while, and then was working, in other companies for a number of years and still earning money. But Sami Callihan doing this could have ended the lives of two people. Could have ended the careers of two people. I mean, Kevin Sullivan, granted, at 68 years old, is probably only making spot appearances anyway. But Eddie Edwards is somebody who has about probably a decade left of his career and nearly has snuffed out because this moron thought it was a good idea to swing a bat at, a guy's head. Oh, it'll bounce off the chair. You fucking idiot. You just fucking idiot. And now he's picking on senior citizens. I think somebody on the Impact Wrestling roster or somebody at an indie show that's got a really good, legit wrestling background and, MMA background, if they happen to face Sami Callihan, if he tries to do anything, they should take liberties with him and stretch him. And I'm not saying hurt the guy, like, bash his head in and stuff like that. But hurt the guy, stretch the guy, and show him what's going to happen if you don't respect wrestling. And that right there is the whole thing, what it comes down to. Sami Callihan doesn't respect the sport of wrestling. He doesn't. I'm all for accidents occurring because that's going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. Unfortunately timed injuries. And bad things are going to happen in a contact sport, no matter how safe WWE and other promotions try to make it. The Eddie Edwards thing is preventable. This was preventable. Sami Callihan needs to be banned. 100%. Impact Wrestling should cut ties with him. Get rid of him. I mean, Kevin Sullivan's worked with Impact Wrestling on a number of occasions. I don't know if he's still working with them. I'm not too familiar with all their backstage crew and their creative. But why do they need him? Impact needs positive buzz. Now, this did not happen. This did not happen on one of their shows. This happened on an indie show. I'm not going to knock that promotion. Rockstar Pro Wrestling, I believe. I had to remember because I'm a little fired up, so I sort of forgot. But I'm not going to knock them. But I'm going to knock Sami. He deserves to be banned. Blacklisted, whatever. He doesn't deserve to be booked in Japan. He doesn't deserve to be booked anywhere else. At 30 years old, one, you should know better. 10 years old, that's not a good thing to do that. Hurl a bat at someone's head and to be stupid and to, do that kind of shit to people. But no, Sami apparently doesn't understand that. It's, what the fuck? He flamed out in NXT, and apparently Sandy was his idea, and Sandy wouldn't have succeeded had Solomon Crow, Sami Callicrow, or whatever variation they decided to put of his name. It wouldn't have succeeded with him. It would have flamed out after one takeover, if it would have gotten the one takeover. I mean, the Solomon Crow gimmick was a doomed venture anyway. He was never going to succeed in NXT. He started to succeed in Lucha Underground, now he's in Impact. Impact needs to cut ties with the guy, though. You already cut ties with Alberto El Patron, who's a bigger star than Sami Callihan. Just get rid of Sami Callihan. You don't need to be paying a guy that injured one of your potential top guys. I mean, Eddie Edwards is a pretty damn good wrestler. He may never taste world title gold again. He might. I don't know. He did once, and good for him. I would be all for him tasting tag gold again to some point, but we'll see what happens. But Eddie Edwards is a shining star and a shining example of the guy you want to build around. What's Sami Callihan? He's a piece of shit. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And I'd say that to his goddamn face if I could. Because I'm a big wrestling fan. I love pro wrestling. I don't love this. This isn't pro wrestling. As a fan, this disgusts me. It's disgusting. He should not be allowed in pro wrestling. And let me know in the comments if you agree, by the way. So that's enough of Sami Callihan. Ban the guy. Impact, fire him. Other promotions ban him. Get rid of the guy. Maybe the guy can go out and get a real job. Get a job at Hot Topic. All due respect to Hot Topic. Maybe he can get a job doing something like that. Or moving freight. Or, I don't know, being a baseball coach and how to swing a bat. Although all he'd be doing is swinging it at home plate. Can't imagine that guy be able to hit a home run at any point. Not saying I can. I'm not an athlete. But I respect wrestling. Sami doesn't respect wrestling and is not a wrestler at all. Now, moving on to the other subject. This may be brief. I want to give a shout out to my friend Crystal. Forgive me if I forgot your forgot your Twitter handle. It's a bit complicated to remember, and I'm a little fired up right now. Other people did point this out to me also. But apparently, and recently people may have noticed, I mean, even like, I think it was yesterday, but Alexa, I guess, had gotten her breasts enhanced. Both, obviously. Whatever. And Billy and Peyton were off TV for a while, had gotten some work done. I want to make this clear. Let me make this clear that if they want to get work done, no one needs to shame them for it. Were they beautiful women before the work? Absolutely. So were a lot of women before they got work done, before they got into wrestling, or before they got into acting, this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, society, for any advances it tries to make towards equality and this kind of stuff, it takes some steps back. A lot of guys, a lot of women are being forced to have a certain image that they project on TV. Yes, it is where, okay, you want to draw fans, men and women that love the sport, but also are attracted to the respective genders, or the same gender, whatever. I mean, that's 2018. I certainly ain't gonna judge. I wouldn't judge if it was 1998. In 1998, me actually would have, but I changed that. And I did a show about that where I changed for the better, and how you can too. Check that out. That's somewhere down my timeline. Or just ask me for it on Twitter. I'll put my Twitter handle in the description, and I will send you that video. But anyway, the whole point of this is there are fans that are shaming and tagging Peyton and Alexa and Billy, I guess. And I'm sure they did it with others too. But apparently there were a few people who sent me tweets in DM, and I'm not gonna call out the people by name. I would suggest you do searches and just call out these idiots by name. And I mean the people that are attacking the wrestlers. If they want to do that to their bodies for their own benefit, to feel better about themselves or whatever, leave them alone on it. Woman's body is her choice. Like a man's body is his choice. Everybody has the right to do to their bodies what they want to do. I wouldn't suggest doing drugs. Drugs are stupid. Stop doing drugs. But if you want to do some kind of plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery procedure to your body, more power to you. I didn't think that these women needed to do it, me personally, but it's not up to me. But I'm not going to shame them for it. They're beautiful women regardless. And so are many of the women that are on the WWE roster. So are many women that have gotten those kind of cosmetic procedures and work in other promotions. We got to stop with this stuff. And look, I make my jokes all the time about men, about women. I make jokes about almost everything. But we really got to stop. We got to maintain, if we're going to do jokes, let's do jokes. But let's not do the mean-spirited stuff. Let's be a little less mean to people. Let's try to be a little less mean to people. I say, as I basically said right before, that Sami Callihan should be banned from wrestling and should never be allowed to ever wrestle again. But I do want to say one thing, though. If the company pressured them to get this work done, that's wrong by WWE. It's not shocking, but it's wrong. And they should be held accountable for that if that ever comes out. But there have been women that work for the company that got breast enhancements and had them taken out afterwards. And that's good. Whatever they want to do to their bodies is their choice. So stop shaming the women if they want to do that. Now, you want to shame WWE in case it was their choice to make these women do those things, by all means do that. But don't tell these women that they don't have the right to do that to their bodies, or that they're bad people, or that they're damaging themselves. If they end up damaging themselves, if it's an adverse effect, a bad effect from, the surgical procedure, okay, but don't shame them for that. You're never going to know unless you get this kind of stuff done. And if they're happy with their bodies, whether they were happy with their bodies before or now, doesn't matter. Let them be who they are. They want to get the stuff reversed a little bit later, fine. But it's their bodies. So unless it was WWE that pressured them to do this, leave the women alone. Even then, leave the women alone. Focus your hate on WWE, the company, not the female talents. Okay? Because otherwise you're just being a piece of shit for it. So anyway, that's what I got to say. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. My Twitter link again in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.